Welcome to Sowmya Tutorials. This presentation covers the key concept of the understanding computer system architecture, which means that block diagram of the computer system, which is in the first PUC NCERT syllabus, the chapter number 1, computer system. This is the session number. So this diagram which shows that the block diagram of a computer system, which is also known as the functional components of a computer system. This functional components of a computer system, which is having 4 different units. One is called input unit, second one storage unit, third one central processing unit, the fourth one output unit. First of all, what do you mean by input unit? Input unit, it is any hardware component that allows us to entering the data and instructions into the computer system. This input unit is accepting some human readable form which has to be converted to machine readable form. Some commonly use the input devices which are keyboard, mouse, joystick, scanner, microphones. These are all the examples for input devices. Then go to the second unit, that is called the storage unit. So what is a storage or a memory? We need a memory to store the data and instructions in our computer system. It mainly consists of the 2 different types of the memory units. One is called primary memory, one more is the secondary memory. Primary memory means that it is a temporary memory because it stores the data and instructions in temporarily. When the power goes off, the data will be lost. So it is called a temporary memory. Then go to the second part, that is a secondary memory, which is also known as a permanent memory because it stores the data in permanently as long as the user wants. Then go to the third unit, that is called central processing unit. The central processing unit, it is at heart and brain of the computer system because it supervises all the components of our computer system. This CPU having the 2 more components like CU, that is control unit, and also the ALU, that is arithmetic and logic unit. The function of the CU is that it manages instruction sequencing, interprets the instruction, and also directs the data flow. This is a function of the CU. It controls and coordinates all the activities of the computer system. This is also the function of the control unit. Then go to the arithmetic and logic unit. All the calculations are carried out in this unit. It executes some arithmetical operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, and also it performs the logical operations like AND, OR, and DOT. Then go to the last unit, that is called output unit. The output unit is also the any hardware component that allows us to receive the data from the computer system for the display or the presentation. So here these devices translates the digital signals into the human readable form. So here some examples for the output devices which are monitor, printer, projector, headphones or the speakers, etc. Then go to the next slide. So here the detailed descriptions of the functional units. So that is the first is the input devices. So what is the input devices? So these are all the devices through which the control signals are sent to a computer that are termed as the input devices. These devices they convert the inputted data into the digital form that is acceptable by the computer system. Some examples of the input devices which includes the keyboard, mouse, scanner, touchscreen, etc. The keyboard it is a most commonly used input devices which enters the text and also the commands into the computer system. The second example is a mouse. It is also an example for the input devices. It controls the cursor and also the interacts with the user interfaces, that is the graphical user interfaces. Third example is a scanner. This scanner is also an input devices. It converts the physical documents into the digital format. The last example is a touch screen. This touch screen is direct interactions via touch. So these are all the examples of the input devices. Then go to the next slide. This is a central processing unit. We normally told that the CPU it is at the heart and brain of the computer system because the CPU carry out the processing of a data. It supervises all the components of a data like so input devices, output devices, memory devices as well as the processing unit. The CPU has two main components like the arithmetic and logic unit and also the CU that is called control unit. Arithmetic and logic unit performs all the arithmetical and also the logical operations that needs to be done as per the instructions given in a program. This control unit, it controls the sequential instructions like from starting or beginning to the end and also interprets the instructions like a language translators and also guides the data flow through the computer memory or arithmetical logic unit or the input and also the output devices. By processing, the CPU stores the data as well as the instruction in its local memory. That memory we can call it as a registers. So what is a register? Registers are the part of the CPU chip that they are limited in size and also number. During processing, the CPU utilizes the registers to store the limited amount of data and also the instructions. These registers are located on the CPU chip but are limited in size. These registers also a volatile memory used for the high-speed access. Without the registers, the CPU usage would be significantly slower. So this is about the CPU, Central Processing Unit. Then go to the next unit that is a computer memory. A computer memory needs a memory to store the data and instructions in our computer system for the processing. There are three different types of the memory. One is a primary memory, secondary memory and cache memory. Primary memory is a temporary memory, main memory. It stores the data temporarily. When the power goes off, the data will be lost. Secondary memory is a permanent memory which stores the data permanently as long as the user wants. Cache memory is a very high-speed memory that is placed in between the CPU and also the main memory. Examples for the primary memories are RAM and also ROM. That means random access memory and read-only memory. Examples for the secondary memories are hard disk, floppy disk, CD, DVD, pen drives and storage disk, etc. Then the last unit is output devices. These are all the devices that receives the data from the computer system for the display is called output devices. Some examples of the output devices which are monitor, projector, headphones, speakers and printers. Monitors. This is an example for the output device which is used for displaying some visual output. Projector, it is also an example for the output device. This projects the output on a surface or the screen. The headphones as well as the speakers, So these two are the examples for the output devices which is used as an audio output to the ears. Then one more example is there, that is a printer. This is also an output device which produces the hard copy output. These are all some examples of output devices. So this is the end of this session. Thank you for watching. If you like my videos, please do subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon for the notification of the new video. Thank you so much.